Republican State Representative Jeremy Faison was talking was speaking about anti-bullying laws. And, you know, as a Republican, he's against anti-bullying laws. He feels like it's too much government interference. And he also says that if parents just taught their children right, no one would commit suicide. Let's watch.
Guys, we can't continue to legislate everything. And we have some horrible things that have happened in America and in our state, and there's children who've actually committed suicide, but I will submit to you today, they did not commit suicide because of somebody bullying them. They committed suicide because they were not instilled proper principles of where their self-esteem came from at home. And there's people in this room right here, at one time in their life were a bully, but you didn't grow up to be a bad person. You might have had to get your head knocked around a time or two, get sent to the principal, get your hiney busted. That's what we should do. Allow corporal punishment, but my goodness, we don't want to make criminals out of children.
What is he talking about? You think he's checked with these parents? You think he knows where these kids he was talking? Were the kids in Tennessee? 2 kids in Tennessee?
Yes, there were 2 gay teenagers in Tennessee that committed suicide after they were severely bullied. One is Phillip Parker, the other one was Jacob Rogers. And one of them actually made one of those It Gets Better videos on YouTube. And then shortly after that, he took his own life. It's a really sad story. And I remember I did this story on Minnesota once because Minnesota, or a part of Minnesota, very conservative area, had a policy in place called Don't Say Gay, right? And that was a part of Minnesota that had the most teen suicides. And it was because of the type of environment it created, right? Hate gay kids, bully gay kids. It's something that needs to be addressed because it has real consequences. And Tennessee is a state that's considering similar legislation. Don't say gay legislation.
Didn't it, I think it passed the legislature, or a committee in the legislature, like 8-7. So it's not law yet in Tennessee. It's a bad law. It's a terrible law. And, you know, in some sense, of course, that I don't know the circumstance. By the way, neither does Jeremy Faison. Is that his name? Mm-hmm. He doesn't know the circumstances either. He hadn't checked with those parents. These guys get up and they start talking about nonsense they don't know, about important stuff. I mean, kids that killed themselves. He doesn't know these families, and not these kids in particular, because I don't know these families either. But I get, in some cases, it might not be bullying, and it might be related to the family, but it's not how he thinks. It's the other way. Mm-hmm. Like he's talking about, you know, he's saying, these parents should have been like, hey, snap out of it. Date a girl, make out with a girl, right? That's his idea. When, of course, what might have happened in some situations across this country, as we well know, is the family, you know, saying, the parents ridiculing the kid for this, and that might have driven a kid to some sort of extreme behavior.
Also, think back to when you were a teenager.
So let me just finish that. It just occurred to me because maybe what needed, in some cases, again, not these kids, because I have no idea, is parents who reach out and be like, yeah, it's okay who you are. You're fine. I love you, and it's all right. So in that sense, he's right, but you know that's not the kind of parenting he's talking about. He doesn't want parents embracing their gay kids.
Yeah, exactly. You're totally right about that. And also, let's say that you do have parents that are accepting and they teach you how to be confident, have a lot of self-esteem. No matter how confident your parents tell you to be, when you're going through high school, when you're a teenager, that's the part of your life where you're most insecure, right? I know my parents told me that I need to buck up, I need to be confident. Oh, you're so smart, you're so beautiful. I mean, I am, but I'm just kidding. No, but when I was in high school, I was super insecure. It didn't matter, right? I thought I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't good enough. Every student goes through those insecurities. So to have people bully you while you're going through one of the most insecure parts of your life, I think,
yeah, I mean, I guess
no parent is going to prevent that. The only thing that we can do something about is address bullying in schools. Now, the question is, how do you address it? Do we really need legislation? Do the administrators need to be taught better through education? I don't know what the answer is, right? But having this ridiculous discussion about how it's the parents' fault, there's no place for it.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I mean, I agree with you. But I mean, parents need to be involved in everybody. My hunch is that legislation is, in general, a bad idea. If it's behavior we're talking about, direct, menacing, threatening behavior, okay. You know, I don't like hate crime legislation because it regulates what you're thinking. And I think that if a gay kid is attacked, that they ought to be prosecuted for the attack because it's an assault. And I am uncomfortable with government getting into the motivation for your attack. The motivation in your heart for the attack. That doesn't seem to me to be place and I know that puts me at odds with a lot of liberals. It's bad, and we ought to do something about it, and we need to be aggressive about dealing with it. But a hate crime, always that sort of getting into somebody's head and heart about what they feel. Like, you're allowed to be a racist. What you're not allowed to do is beat somebody up. So I'm still uncomfortable with it. I see the intent, and I respect the intent. I don't think it's the right way to go.